Hi guys. So today we are going to be talking about data tables in Amplitude. And we're going to start with the importance of data tables on um, why you should be using data tables along with the other types of reports that you use in Amplitude. So when it comes to data tables, you can think of them as a superpowered spreadsheet within Amplitude. And just like a spreadsheet, it helps organize information into rows and columns. But it can also do much more. It's an incredibly useful tool when you need to dig deep into your numbers and understand what's really going on. So to start with, we are going to create a data table. So you click on create, go to chart, and then select the data table. So as you can see over here, you can see a lot of options, but the key to working with data tables is to take it step by step and start with simple things. So the first thing that we'll do is we will add an event. So click on the add event or metric button, select, let me just change the project from here. So we are going to select the page view event. This gives us the number of users who have conducted a page view event. So we have an option over here. If we want to change this to total events, we can definitely do that. So now this tells us the total number of page view events. Now what we can do is we can simply select a breakup of the page views over here. So for example, we want to break this up by the country of users who have conducted these page views. As you can see, we can very clearly see where the majority of our page views are coming from. So this is just a very brief overview of how we can start with data tables. So let's talk about what's so special about data tables, right? So why should we use these instead of all the other chart types that Amplitude has, or what's basically the um, main value proposition for data tables? So the first thing is that they show you multiple things at once. So as we're going to go along in this video, I will show you how you are able to measure multiple things at the same time in the same chart instead of creating multiple charts and then flipping between those charts to view the data that you want to do. So this gives you a nice overview in one place. And then the second part is that they let you dig deeper. So again, in the course of this video, we are going to go through several examples where you can see how data tables help us dig deeper into our data. So now we're going to go into some use cases. So the first use case that we have in data tables it is that it lets you compare time periods. So as you can see, the data that we have right now is we have the total number of page views. They are grouped by the country of the users, and we have the data for the last 7 days. Let's say we want to compare this data to the previous week. We can select previous week from here, and then we can also have the section to show the percentage change. So what this helps us do is to see, first of all, what were the values for page views in the previous period, and what are the values for page views in the current period, and then what is the percentage delta between those. So the thing that we see over here is that the page views for United States have increased by 15%. For Germany, they've increased by 20%. For United Kingdom, they've increased by 9%. So, but for Egypt, we see that we're seeing a very high amount of increase, which is around 40%. So, again, this is just an example. You can definitely adapt this to your own use case and see how it can help you over there. Um, we can also use this to spot trends. So I'll just remove the comparison for now, and let's see if we want to further break up the behavior of users in the United States. For example, we want to see um, which day of the week are they most active on. So now you can see that we have a specific use case for data tables that we discussed before, that it helps us drill down into users. So for example, we want to see what is the most popular day for users in the United States. We can very clearly see that Friday is the most popular day. That's where most of our page views happen. And Sunday is the least popular day. That's when the least of our page views happen. So again, this is a very powerful tool, and the only limit to the power of this tool is basically your imagination, and obviously your analytics setup. So now we're going to move ahead to another use case, which is basically understanding where your users are coming from. So I'll just remove all of this, and I'll select the user property for UTM source. Um, and it gives you a breakup of where your users are coming from, whether they're coming from direct, whether they're coming from Google, email, Instagram, TikTok, and things like that. So this is also one of the use cases that you can use to see where your users are coming from. Another thing that you can do is you can add other metrics, other events as well, which is basically, let's compare complete purchase. So now we saw that we were getting the most amount of users from direct, and now we can also see the attribution for complete purchase. But if we're comparing event totals, this should also be event totals, so that we are comparing like to like. um, One thing of importance to note over here is that we also see the distribution of these groups, right? So this value tells us that 35.7% of all users are coming from direct, 29.7% are coming from Google, and so on. Similarly, we can see that 35.6% of all purchases are coming from direct, 30.1% are coming from Google, and then so on. So again, gives us a very good overview of our data. So now we are going to dive a bit deeper um, with an advanced functionality of data tables, which is basically to track the results of an experiment. And this is going to be slightly advanced because we are also going to see how we can create a new metric and how to use metrics in data tables. But we are going to go through it in a step by step manner, so that it's easy for you guys to follow along. So this is a new data table. What we've done is that we've set this up with the correct time duration. That's the only thing that we've done. But now what we're going to do is we are going to use another functionality of data tables, which is basically m- tracking different segments of users. So the first segment that we want to track is essentially the control group for an experiment. So over here, we are going to select performed, and we are going to select the exposure event. Exposure event basically, to give you a very quick introduction, it tracks whenever a user is exposed to an experiment. So we will select the exposure event. We will then select the flag key, which is a fancy name for the experiment. So we only have one experiment right now. We'll select that. Then we will select the variant. This is the control group, we want to select the control group of users. Now we are going to select the appropriate time duration when this experiment was run. And for simplicity, what we are going to do is we are going to name this segment control group. So that's now we have basically our control group over here. Um, an easy way to set up a treatment group is basically just to duplicate this segment, and we are going to change the variant from control to treatment, and then we are going to change the name of this segment to treatment group. Okay, so now you can see we have the number of unique users who were exposed to the experiment. We see that the control group has 3039 users and the treatment group has 3037 users. We can see that the distribution of users between control and treatment group has been um, more evenly divided. So now what we're going to do is this just tells us how many users were exposed to the experiment. Now we're going to add an event to track the results of the experiment. So we're going to select a conversion event, which is basically purchase ticket. So we're going to select this event. Now we see the value of the ticket events as well. This in itself is a nice way to see if the experiment was successful or not, because we want to see that the treatment group should have basically I just fix this typo. We need to see that the treatment group should have a higher conversion rate than the control group. We can do this calculation manually, but we have the power of spreadsheets and we are going to use that. I'm just going to collapse these controls because we don't need them for now, and now we have much more space over here. Um, so now what we're going to do is we are going to create a metric. Previously, in all the examples that we've discussed before, we have been using events. Now we're going to move to metrics. So we select metrics, we click on define new metric. Um, we can create uniques, event totals, property sum, average, conversion. Then we can also create revenue related metrics and session related metrics. We're going to be talking about metrics in a separate video, but for today's topic, we are going to stick to the formula. So the formula functionality is a very powerful functionality where you can select different events and combine them in a formula, and we're just going to see them now. So the event that we want to select is the purchase ticket event, and then the second event that we want to select is the exposure event. And because we want to track the conversion rate, we want to see how many people purchase the ticket divided by the number of people who were exposed to the experiment. So basically, we're tracking the conversion rate. And the formula syntax is very simple. So we have uniques A. A is basically the first event, and then B is the second event. We divide this by B, and this basically sets up the formula. Another thing that we can do to make sure that we have the correct format, because this is a conversion rate and it has to be in percentages, so we can add a format modifier over here, and this basically makes sure that the numbers that we see are in the correct format. We will call this conversion rate, and then we are going to save this metric. So now we see that we have the conversion rate formula over here. We can see that the conversion rate for control group was 26.1%, while the conversion rate for treatment group was around 32%, which is a significant increase. Hence, this tells us that the experiment was successful. So, yeah, this was a very quick overview of what data tables can do for your reporting use cases within Amplitude. There are some helpful tips that you need to keep in mind when working with data table. The first one is that take it step by step, start simple, and then add more information as you need it. You can use filters to focus on specific groups of users or time periods. You can definitely save these data tables for use in other charts as well. And don't be afraid to experiment, right? So you can always go back and you can always start over. So, just to wrap up, while data tables might look plain compared to the colorful charts and graphs, they're incredibly powerful tools for understanding your data. Think of them as your digital microscope. They help you zoom in on exactly what you want to understand about your users and your product. So, yeah, that was it for today. See you guys in other videos.